explaining why you had to go beyond Lucas's idea. You couldn't leave it alone, could you? No, you couldn't have just made a Star Wars movie, right? And of course I have to get my Rian Johnson whacking stick here. Hello everyone, I am Mecha Random 42, the one and only harpy on YouTube, I think, at this point. And if I'm not the one and only, then I'm definitely your favorite one. Rian Johnson. Oh Lord, this is a Screen Rant article. Let's talk about this. You know, he kind of reminds me of those people who go in and like throw a cherry bomb in a toilet in a public restroom or something, and then they flush it, and then they go and point and laugh, right? He seems like that type of guy. That's just the impression I get. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's just doing the best he can with all the criticism he gets. I don't know. I can't tell you what's going on in his head. I don't think anybody knows what's going on in his head, and those who think they do don't have any idea what Star Wars is. So let's get into this article. Tell me why we're wrong and he was right. Screen Rant. Since that's what you're trying to do, right? Are you calling us trolls and stuff too in this one? You calling us a bunch of basement-dwelling, cousin-humping man-babies like the rest of the media? I don't know if you are. So, director Rian Johnson shares a creative thought process on his decision to make sure Star Wars The Last Jedi is different from his predecessors. Oh, it was different, all right. Can we say fandom breaking? Can we say so different that you pretty much lost all of us? You lost us. I don't know if I'm going to go and see episode 9 in the theater. You know, it might be something where I just say, no, I didn't feel like it. And then I'm going to disappoint thousands of people. Or, you know, maybe you'll understand. Maybe you'll be like, yeah, I can totally see why you didn't go. Because I'm going to know everything that happens anyway, because we're covering it on YouTube. We're going to know everything that's going to happen in this movie, pretty much. Oh, the 8th film in the Skywalker saga, and second one from the sequel trilogy. The film followed up J.J. Abrams' Star Wars The Force Awakens 2 years prior, earned an impressive $1.3 billion at the box office. Well, yeah, that's because it's Star Wars. Solo didn't do too well, though. Didn't that only make $700 million or something after everything, after having to be filmed twice? So here's where we're at with Star Wars. Since a lot of people didn't really care that much about Solo, and it wasn't even like, oh my god, this film's amazing now that, you know, we skipped it because Last Jedi sucked. And that's what happened with a lot of us. A lot of us skipped it only because we were crushed by The Last Jedi with what happened to Luke and with the complete different character arcs and continuity issues. You know, you're going so off character that you're almost getting into continuity issues here, right? And yeah, everything makes sense within that movie, but it doesn't make sense within any of the other Star Wars movies. So, also getting criticism from the massive fan community, making it one of the most divisive blockbusters in recent years. Well, it would have made that much anyway. Daisy Ridley wasn't surprised by the fan backlash. Sorry, I just had to click on that. At least they're not calling us a bunch of names, right? At least it says criticism from the massive fan community. That's better. Thank you, Screen Rant. Well, we'll reserve this for Rian Johnson's comments. The Last Jedi picked up immediately after the events of Star Wars 7, continuing the ongoing journeys of all these new characters that nobody cares about, as well as barely using and misusing the legacy character. We didn't even get them all together. We didn't get Han, Luke, and Leia in one shot together. That is disgusting to me. That is so heartbreaking. You have no idea. With his second year anniversary inching near, the filmmaker is opening up about working on the project. Well, I think because we're still talking about it. This is almost 2 years later and we're still talking about it. We're not talking about The Rise of Skywalker. We don't even have a trailer. We have a little teaser where she jumps over the TIE fighter or whatever, or the X-Wing. Was it? I can't remember now. I saw the trailer like twice. During a guesting stint at the first episode of the podcast Creative Processing with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Johnson looked back to his experience making The Last Jedi. The director took a lot of risks when it came to working on the film, which resulted in varying opinions from the massive fandom. Johnson then proceeded to explain why he was keen on making Star Wars 8 different from its predecessors. Yeah, I get it. You made a name for yourself. You did that for your career and not for us. You did it for your own selfish reasons, so we would always remember Rian Johnson with his round head that looks like a Pokeball, that is what we're going to remember. We're going to remember being crushed and disappointed and insulted and irritated. You know, you had Princess Leia fly throughout space like she could do that sort of thing. It's space. It's a vacuum. That's not how the Force works. Insert "that's not how the Force works" here meme, right? The instant you start thinking in terms of how do you not step outside the bounds of what the original movies did, you're not thinking the way people who made the original movies did. Yeah, but they actually had talent and created this stuff, and they cared about it and wanted to tell a story. You're just wanting to not do what they did, and at the same time giving us something that you wanted to do instead of giving us something that we were kind of wanting and expecting. And I know you can't please everybody, but you could at least kind of say, okay, what do 90% of the fans want with Luke Skywalker? They want him to come in and be a badass with a lightsaber. They want to see him. They want to see all these years of training as a Jedi. They want to see him be the best thing ever. They were with every movie, they were pushing it forward. With every movie, they were stepping outside of those bounds and pushing the characters into new, emotionally honest but surprising places. That's why those movies are great. That's why they're alive. If they had been looking at something that came before saying, oh, we better not do this because that's outside of this or that, it would have been different. They were based on Seven Samurai, though. The Crawl came right out of Flash Gordon. They did a lot of stuff. They took a lot of things. And they kind of blended them together in a new way. They took a lot of ingredients, right? You know, you've got like your prime rib, and then you got some tomatoes, and you got some this and that. You got your ingredients, though. They didn't just take whatever people had done. They were inspired by. So I don't think you understand. I still don't think he gets it. I really don't. Johnson has a point. Part of the reason why Star Wars Saga continues to thrive is because it's able to keep the viewers guessing what comes next for their beloved characters. However, the counter-argument by genuine Last Jedi critics, okay, thank you for calling us genuine critics, is that the film may have pushed too far for the sake of pushing a narrative and plots and twists. Narrative plots and twists, yes. Some also point out Johnson's creative choices resulted to inconsistencies in the franchise, considering that he went off on a different direction compared to what Abrams initially planned The Force Awakens. Yeah, and I can, okay, here's the thing. This article is like probably the best one that I've read about any of Star Wars. They're not attacking us. They're just genuinely saying, yeah, this is what they've been saying. Thank you, Screen Rant. Shout out to Screen Rant on this one. I will definitely acknowledge that you have a good article here. You're not insulting us. You're not clickbaiting us. So thank you. Let me feature this. I'm happy to. And I kind of can see that, you know, a lot of the complaints with Force Awakens was that it was just a copy and paste of Star Wars, of A New Hope. I still call it Star Wars because I'm old. You know, I saw the third movie in the theater as a kid, right? Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I'm old. So I can see why he might have wanted to do it. I think that maybe they just didn't get somebody with the intellect and talent to do it. Now that I see it, he kind of comes across like, yeah, he always reminds me of, like, if you guys ever watch Tim and Eric's Awesome Show, he reminds me of somebody who would be on that. Somebody who doesn't get that they are the joke, that they're not actually that funny. You know, like some side person that they would bring in. That's what he reminds me of, this kind of anti-humor, or this sort of anti-filmmaking. Only time will tell how Star Wars The Last Jedi will fare in the next decades to come. George Lucas's prequels are also very divisive during their release, but looking back on them now, fans have mellowed down on their criticism. Yeah, well, the prequels weren't that great. I probably have about the same reaction now that I did then. I think I like them less than I did then. I was a little bit more excited. I'm definitely somebody who I'm like, if I'm spending that kind of money to watch a movie in the theater, buying merch, I'm gonna damn well like it. And it really gets on my nerves if I don't. Oh, Lord, more. The most decisive movies of the decade. Oh, so that's just going on to the next article. But yeah, I don't think that Rian Johnson is really, really going to solve this. I really, really don't. The most divisive movies of the decade. I just wanted to see what their next article that they're looking at was. This looks like just CG. This is a Batman movie. I don't think that was very divisive. But yeah, anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments section below. Do you think he went in trying to just not do what JJ did just because JJ got criticism? Or do you think he went in trying to say, oh, I'm going to mess up this thing. I'm going to take their thing from them because they love it and I'm mad at them. And that's what it really feels like to me. It feels like the schoolyard bully who comes in and takes your stuff even though they don't want it. Gee, where have I heard that before? Gee, same thing with Star Trek. Same thing with superhero movies. You're getting a lot of people into these franchises who would bully us for liking these things back in the 80s. So I don't know about you, but tell me what you guys think. I am Mecha Random 42, and I will see you on the next video, live stream, or wherever. Bye! Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!